I work at a Nike store, obviously. I've worked at a Nike store for a while. I'm on and off with it. When you start at the job, you're like, oh my God, I love this company. They make so much good stuff. The discount's nice. The people are amazing. And then it starts to just, um, maybe it's just me though. Maybe it's just having a job that eats me away, not Nike itself. But every time I try to leave Nike, I always end up going back. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna stick it out and we're gonna do it. But now it's getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I want to be somebody for Nike. Like I want to be someone. I want to be like a face of Nike. Like how you see the athletes like Chloe Kelly or Serena Williams or obviously Michael Jordan. Um it just doesn't work like that though because I'm not an athlete. And you can argue that like obviously Nike's slogan is if you have a body you're an athlete. But I'm not an athlete. Like I'm not like Nike's, you know, favorite children, like the favorite athletes, like the athletes they sponsor. And they become the face of Nike. They become what, when you look up, like, let's say a pair of sweatpants, they're the ones wearing the sweatpants. They're the ones wearing the shoes. They're the ones that have collab shoes. But deep down inside, it's like, those shoes, people look at like a Jordan and they're like, oh, Michael Jordan. But they don't look at the Jordan and they don't look at who created, who mapped it out, who decided for these colors. Yes, you can say it's Michael Jordan's shoe, but Michael Jordan didn't sit in a workshop for hours and hours and hours and hours meticulously crafting the shoe, sketching it, sitting there pondering, questioning, staying up late at night thinking about what could be added, if it's good enough, if it's gonna reach the target audience. Michael Jordan didn't do that. Like, he did more in his career that made him the deserving title of the shoe owner, but he wasn't the one that did the work to make the shoe. And I want to be the person that does the work. I want to be the person that makes. I want to be the person that crafts. I want to be the person that designs, but I want to be a person that, you can look at it and you can put a face to it, and that face is me. Like, I want to be the face of what I create. I want to be recognized. And maybe I'm just like fiending for validation or something, or I don't know. But I just want to create and I just want to do something for people. You see artists like when they, like music artists, let's say, they get their Grammy. The Grammys were just last night. They get their Grammy, they step on it, up on stage and they're like all those young girls out there, don't doubt yourself. You can do it. Like I was in your position once and you can do it. But they're pointing at all the future music artists because they're music artists. They're saying, all you young female artists that are music affiliated, you can do what I just did. But you don't see artists that have a giant exhibition and making money and money and money and money off of their paintings. You don't see them standing up and being like, if you're a young artist, you can do it because you're competition. I feel like artists don't support other artists. And maybe I'm just too closed off to the artistry world because I don't have many connections. I don't have many friends that do art. And maybe I'm just assuming. But I just feel like artists, we're talking like painting, drawing, etc., designers, they see everybody as competition, not support in the way that music artists do, in the way like at the end of the day, athletes, yes, all athletes are competitors against each other unless they're on the same team, but at the end of the game, they all shake hands with each other. I mean, I guess you could argue the same thing about them is that they aren't here to support each other, they're here to compete. That's the whole point of sports. But I feel like with artists it's just different. I sit in a class with a bunch of other artists for my portfolio class, and I look around and I'm thinking like, I wonder who's better than me in here. I wonder who would have a better career than me in here. Am I good enough? Like, I guess I'm just constantly sitting in a spiral of wondering if I'm ever gonna be good enough to be someone someday. And I've always wanted to be somebody. I've always wanted people to know my name. I've always wanted people to know what I do. And I've always wanted to be appreciated for it, but art just isn't appreciated the way that it is. The part that's appreciated is the person who is the face of the art. And when we're speaking of Nike, the person being appreciated for all of the Jordans that have been created is Michael Jordan, not the people who spent hours of their life creating what Michael Jordan can have a representation for. And I just feel like no matter what, even if I do become somebody in the art industry, I'm just gonna be second best. I feel like I'm always just gonna be second best. I'm never gonna be the best, you know? It's always the other woman, you know? I always feel like, even at my own job right now, I'm always second best. Like, there's somebody that's always doing better than me. And that bothers me. Like, I want to be doing the best. And I push myself and I push myself. And even when I am doing what my body believes is my best, or my heart believes is my best, my brain is still telling me that's not your best, because there's still somebody right here doing better than you. So you aren't doing your best unless you're doing better than them, and them. And I don't know, maybe I'm just psychotic. Maybe I'm just crazy, I don't know. But I want to work for Nike, and I want to be the face of my own creation. I want to be the face of it, and I want people, when they look at my stuff, I want them to look at it and be like, she spent hours of her life dedicating time to creating this, and she has the honor of being the face of it. I don't want to be in the background. I don't want to be the ghost writer. I don't want to be the ghost artist. I don't want to be the person that's doing all the little shit in the background. I want to be the face of it. And Nike is a difficult brand to work with. And I'm only 21, so it's like, what are the odds that I'm gonna work with them when I'm still in college, when I'm barely like good enough? That's what my brain wants me to say, when I'm not good enough. Why would Nike choose me when I'm not good enough? But there's so many people out there that aren't artists that would look at my shit and be like, you are good enough. Like, you could go and do that. Or they look at Nike's stuff and they compare it to mine and they say, Chloe, you are good enough, if not better. You can do this. But at the end of the day, my brain's always going to tell me, no, you're not good enough. And it's just a fighting battle. So, working with Nike is a dream, and it'll always be a dream as long as I still am an employee with Nike. I'm always going to be thinking about it. I'm going to be looking at these shoes. I'm going to be looking at these shirts and these pants and all these clothes and all the things that they make and all the videos they make. And I'm going to be sitting there thinking, God, to be a part of a team that does that, to do that, to design, to create a face for a company or the face for a person is just an honor in itself. But to create the face for yourself, at my job we have MVP, which is uh every month it's like the employee of the month, and we have a board, like or a door that's covered in chalkboard paint, and it's for the MVP of the month, and they get to have their picture up there, and they get to have their answers, or their questions and the answers, and guess who does it every month? Me. So the person got the pleasure of doing all their hard work and being nominated as the employee of the month, and then I get to do the work of decorating their board and making a face for them, for their personality, for their performance I created. when is the day that I get to create mine? You know, when is the day that I get to do my own face of my own door and stand there and be like, this is my work and be the face, you know? I feel like artists are rarely the face unless you go into a museum and they're doing an exhibit and they're sitting there talking about their art. That's when they become the face. But the art is always going to be the face. I don't know. I have just yapped for 10 minutes, and the odds of me uh, making any sort of sense in this entire video, I feel like I didn't. So, yeah, that's all I have. This is just something I did on a whim. So, yeah.